An interview, unlike any they faced. We're not testing their political ideas, but their character, their leadership style, and tonight, how they can handle a crisis.
We're going to give you a scenario now, okay? There's a total city-wide power outage. What's your first priority, Zach?
Well, my first priority is to talk to the emergency services to ensure that the areas of greatest need, hospitals, for example, would come pretty high on the list, are served by, and make sure they have the backup generators they need.
First priority is my family, making sure if we're at home everything's okay. Bearing in mind that the Mayor's in charge of the security of our city, I'm going to be speaking to the Met Police Commissioner.
I mean, part of the job of the Mayor is to insulate London against crises. Now, you can't stop everything from happening. We know we're a target. I can't sit here and tell you there won't be an attack on London over the next 4 years, but I can tell you that as Mayor of London, I will work every second of every minute of every day trying to insulate London against that from happening, working with the police.
One of the first things I want to do as the Mayor is have a major review of our emergency services to make sure we're ready for example, a terrorist incident or a major incident.
Let me get to the point. Let's just stick, though, because it is a scenario,
well,
so we know whether...
Well, let me ask the question, which is, so by the time that call came, hopefully, I'd have had the major review sort of been reassured as to what issues there are.
So the first thing is to get the communications up and running, actually, because the first thing you would need is to be able to make sure everyone was safe, and if you've lost all the power, presumably a lot of the communication is down. So that's the first thing I would prioritise, is going out and making sure that we get generators on all the communication.
Well, there would be backup generators, actually, across certain key buildings in London.
They're not working.
They're not working. That's interesting, because they're normally tested very well. I used to work in the NHS, and we used to do this kind of scenario planning an awful lot. My first priority would be to be talking to the emergency services and to make sure we could get power up, particularly at key locations such as hospitals.
What's your first priority, Peter?
Well, my first priority would be to keep people calm. And I think that that is where the Mayor is most important. Because the Mayor has particular powers, but they're quite in particular areas, and they're quite sort of limited.
Well, we're just hearing that you can now restore power to the financial district, the square mile, or 500,000 suburban homes. You have to make that decision. Which do you choose?
But you'd have to take an assessment. I mean, it's not a question you can answer in a split second. If there are hospitals, for example, which have a risk of being closed down, where lives are at risk, then you put lives first. If lives are not at risk, then you protect the square mile.
If it was a weekday, then I would probably say the city, first of all, if you've got a choice of which one goes first. Or getting the suburban homes up and running is obviously a good thing too. But I think if it was a weekday, I'd probably go for the city.
Goodness me. I think, gosh, I think it would probably be, well, it's a difficult balance. I would have to take advice on that.
What does your gut say, because they're pressing you for a decision?
My gut would be people's homes, actually. That would be my gut instinct.
I would say the suburban homes, simply because those people in those homes are the people who come into London to keep the basic, what I would call, most important services going.
The key thing is this: we're the leading global commercial centre, but also we're a city of 8.6 million people. Tube trains running. There could be people stuck on the underground.
The scenario is the square mile or 500,000 suburban homes. Your gut on which you would choose, please.
Suburban homes, because of the issues around safety, issues around public transport, issues around making sure that people are safe. It's really important to me.